Okay, here we move to the next chapter, that is Going Places. So, Going Places has been written by A.R. Barton. He was a modern writer who lives in Zurich and writes in English. He has authorized many stories like Going Places, which are mainly concerned with the problems and the stage of adolescence and hero worship. So, here in this story, it is about unrealistic dreams of the adolescents and their tendency to get indulged in those dreams so much that they themselves begin to believe that their dreams are taking the shape of reality. Although they are well aware that these dreams have little possibility of coming true, yet young men and women get too indulged in them and start living those dreams passionately. And when the reality begins to emerge out, they'll get a disappointment that is sure to enter their lives. So the whole story is about unrealistic dreams and how we love to indulge in them, knowing all the while they have little possibilities. So here in this, Sophie is a teenage girl. Sophie is a character. She is in she is a teenager who is about to finish her schooling, and she belongs to a lower middle class family, but she has high aspirations and she used to live in the world of her own dreams. One day, while just coming home from school with her friend, that is Jansi, she tells Jansi that after leaving school, she wanted to start a boutique. So Jansi is more practical than this girl, Sophie, and tells her that it takes a lot of times to start a boutique. But Sophie has several arguments with her. She says that she'll work as a manager to begin with till she has earned enough money. So Jansi tries to make her understand that nobody will make her a manager just after leaving the school. But Sophie is not convinced and says that she will have the most beautiful shop in the city. So here, Jansi is a realistic girl. She tells Sophie that they were most likely to work in a biscuit factory after this school. So that is their reality. So when they reach Sophie Street, Jansi tells her to be practical in thinking. And she also says that to Jansi that she wanted to become an actress because there is so much of money, according to her. Then she was going to run a boutique side by side. So after reaching home, when she reached home, her father, mother and her younger brother Derek, they were in the room. Sophie declares to have a boutique when she comes into money. Her father retorts and says that he will thank her if she could buy a decent house for the family. So younger brother Derek, he also scoffs at her impractical ideas. So mother too gives a sigh. Sophie feels uncomfortable and she leaves the room. Then she goes to her elder brother, that is Geoff, and whom she was comfortable, so she wanted to share her secrets to him. So Sophie likes her brother Geoff. He is an apprentice mechanic and he used to travel every day. So Sophie imagines that it is a fascinating world that Geoff visits. So she is anxious to visit the exotic people and she wanted to begin to imagine riding behind Geoff into the world. She is confident that the world will receive her with open arms. So Sophie, she finds that Geoff has an oily motorcycle part in his hand and he's just frowning, working at it. So Sophie tells him that she met Danny Kaze in the arcade. So Geoff is aware of all her habits, that she is a daydreamer. He replies that it is not true and he does not want to believe it. But Sophie tells him that she was looking at the clothes in Royce's window and Danny Kaze, he stood beside her. She asked Danny for the autograph, but they don't have a pen. Then she tells Geoff that Danny Casey has asked her to meet him again the next week, but Geoff hardly believes everything whatever she told. He thinks that Sophie is too young and Danny must have been a lot of girlfriends. But Sophie says that Danny has told her that he has no girlfriends. So Sophie makes Geoff promise not to tell their father about it. So Geoff tells father about Sophie's meeting with Casey, but father he did not believe. He thinks that it is another wild story which is coming from her mouth, but Sophie asserts that it is true. She adds that Danny told her that he was going to buy a shop, so father warns her that she would be in trouble someday. So he observes that Danny is a promising player, but he is too young. But all the members of the Sophie's family are great fans of Danny Casey. So on Saturday, they used to make their weekly visit to watch the United team play. So Sophie, her father, Derek, and they all go down near the goal. So Geoff, he was there, goes higher up with his friends. The United team wins by 2 goals. The second goal is scored by Danny. So Sophie glows with pride and Geoff is very excited. So next week came, so Jansi and Sophie they met. So Jansi tells her that Geoff told Frank that she met Danny Casey. So Sophie is surprised because Geoff had promised her not to tell it anyone, but now Sophie is afraid that Jansi will let the whole neighborhood know about it. So Sophie tells Jansi that it is meant to be a secret. So Jansi promises not to tell anyone about her meeting with Danny Casey. So here Sophie again she goes to meet Danny Casey, and after dark Sophie goes to the canal. There she sits in a wooden bench. Sophie she used to always think that it is a perfect place for meeting Danny Casey. So Sophie sits down and waits for Danny. But she imagines that he is coming out from the shadows and also imagine her own consequent excitement. Then she comes out of her dreaming and waits for him, but there is no sign of his coming. She remembers Geoff saying that he would never come. So Danny, he does not come there and she feels sad and hopeless. She thinks that now she will never be able to show her family members that they were wrong to doubt her. She wonders how she will face Geoff. So Sophie once again imagines meeting Danny again at Royce's. She feels his presence and closeness. She asks for an autograph, but once again they discover they don't have a pen or paper. Afterwards, she waits in the arcade for a long while. She remembers his soft melodious voice, the shimmer of his green eyes. Danny's imagine as she saw him playing the last Saturday flashes in her mind. She recollects Danny's image moving past the defenders in the stadium. In her mind's eyes, she sees the spectators making a thunderous applause when Danny scores the goal. So at last, the time passes. She begins to lose hope and disappointed. She feels that he won't come and he won't be able to tell Geoff anything.